Hey everybody, it's Shaminga Myers, and I wanted to do a quick video, just doing a little bit more explaining of the FM formula that uses X factors. I did a video on my page last week, and I just wanted to show you guys a little bit more of how I get the X factor, where that started from. So in the video, I explained that if we're multiplying like numbers together, like 12 times 12, there's a number that has to be multiplied by an X factor for you to get your correct answer. In this case, that number is going to be 2, because during the pattern that I was following, I realized starting with 10 that the X1 factor is 2. And I created the X1 factor. I'm not sure if that's a real term. For the sake of this algorithm, the sake for my formula, I call it the X1. So we're going to multiply 2 times 2 first to get 4, and then 2 times the X1 factor of 2 to get 4 again, and then we multiply the two 10s together to get 1. So very simple, easy idea. Just to back up a little bit, originally I was trying to figure out how I can multiply numbers in general together without stacking them. So that would just be generally like, 36 times 51. I figured there had to be some way to do some, multiply this by that and that by this and something, and you can get an answer. There are some math hacks that let you do numbers and things like that. But while I was trying to figure that out, I came upon a strategic set formula, set pattern for specifically multiplying like numbers, like the 12 times 12, or 26 times 26, or even 350 times 350. So it just has to be like numbers. So this FM formula is only for like numbers. So once I realized that with the X1 equals 2, I thought, oh, okay, so that must be the trick. Multiply that ones place by 2, you get your answer. That's not the trick for every number. Once I got to 20, the 2 did not work. When we get to 20, X1 becomes 4. When we get to 30, X1 becomes 6. When we get to 40, X1 becomes 8. So as you can see, I quickly realized we were following a 2, 4, 6, 8 pattern. And this was true until I got down to 100. So we have 90, which X1 is going to equal 18. When I got to 100, X1 did equal 20. But that wasn't enough to get the correct answer. So this is when I got stumped. First part of my math formula, I thought I discovered something, got down to 100, and it was just like, nope, you're not going to be able to continue this pattern. We're not going to make it that easy for you. Until I took about a week to keep playing with the numbers, because as I was doing it, I was realizing something was working. I was just missing something. And that something was the fact that X1 needed help. X1 had an X2 partner, and that number ended up being 10. So once I tested that, I realized, wow, we are in the hundreds place. So maybe that's why I needed to add a new X2 factor. So let's do a couple examples of, let's do one up here. Let's do 45 times 45. That way you guys can see a little bit how this works before I move on to showing you how you can do it in the hundreds. So 45 times 45. Since we're in the 40s, we're going to use the X1 factor of 8. So 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. Then 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 2 more is 42. Bring down the 2. Carry the 4. Then 4 times 4 is 16, plus 4 more is 20. And let me just check and make sure this is still recording. Believe it or not, this will be my 5th time recording this video. Last time it stopped on me. So I might get up every now and then to check and see if the video is still recording. All right, so you saw how quick and easy that was. Now if we're in 50, I don't have 50 on here, but oops. Gotta love these markers. But 50 will equal, you guessed, 10. So if we're doing, let's say, 55 times 55, we first say 5 times 5 equals 25, because we always multiply the 2 ones first. Then we're going to say 5 times 10, which equals 50, plus 2 more, 52. Then 5 times 5, 25, plus 5 more, 30. So as you can see, the X1 factors for each set of 10s is very important. They are the reason why you can get a correct answer. So let's jump down to the hundreds. As I mentioned before, we need an X1 and an X2 for the hundreds. So let's do 106 times 106. We do 6 times 6, which equals 36. Then 6 times our X1 factor of 20, which gives us 120, plus 3 more, 123. So we bring down our 3 and we carry the 1 and 2. Then we multiply 0 times 0, which is 0, and we bring down our 12, or our 2, and carry our 1 actually. And then we do 1 times 10, our X2 factor. We don't even multiply 1 times 1 anymore. We just say 1 times our X2 factor of 10, which is 10, plus our remainder of 1, which is 11. All right, let's do another one. Let's do 109. So let's do 109 times 109. 9 times 9 is 81. Bring down your 1, carry your 8. Then we're going to say 9 times 20, which is 180, plus 8 more is 188. Bring down our 8, bring up our 1 and 8. Those zeros cancel out, so we're always just going to pretty much bring down the number and carry. So we get 18, bring down our 8, carry our 1, and then 1 times 10 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. And let's see, let me make sure I did that right before we move on. Yep. I always have a calculator handy because, again, I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a girl who followed a pattern and trying to explain it to the world. All right. Let's do 107 times 107. And then, so for this one, we're going to have to multiply 7 by 20. So 7 times 7 first is 49. Bring up our 4. And then 7 times 20 is 140. Plus the 4 more makes 144. 0 times 0 is 0. Bring down our 14. 1 times 10 is 10. Plus 1 more is 11. And then I'm going to check that. And we get 11,449. Yes, so right. All right, so as you can see, I got you guys started on how I started the formula. And I got down to the hundreds. It got confusing because the X1 factor wasn't enough. I did a little bit more math and realized we needed an X2. And then, as you can see, it works. It works for each set of 10s that you use your X factors for. So if you guys are interested in seeing more, I mentioned in my last video that I have followed this pattern up to 20.5K, and I plan on doing more, especially now that I'm sharing it worldwide. So if you have any questions, comments, or want to see me do any specific number, I would love for you guys to do that. That way I can just make quick videos specifically answering your questions instead of these long drawn out ones. But I did feel the need to do this just so you can see where the heck X factors came from. And I really, really hope that the term X factors makes sense now that you see that these X's equal a specific number that really needs to be multiplied in that number or in the multiplication problem to yield a correct answer. And after I noticed that we had X2, we get to a certain group where we have an X3 factor and an X4 factor. And believe it or not, I end up with decimals in some of these. I believe my X4 and my X3 factors ended up with decimals in some of the numbers. When I got my first decimal, I thought that my pattern was done, but it was not. And that's my point. These numbers know how to keep going. They add decimals. They reconfigure themselves to be whole numbers again. They are following a pattern also that you can multiply like numbers together. So this pattern is very intricate, very unique, very cool to me. I will be happy to show you guys and share more videos. Just make sure you comment your interest. If I feel like this is something that people aren't really interested in, I'll just go back to posting my art.